Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz, and today we're going to be doing another tank comparison video. This time it's going to be the Tiger P versus the Tiger 1, which is better. Now, like all of the others, before you turn off, there will be a gameplay segment in this video showing the two tanks if you want the gameplay, and there will be a timestamp in the description of when that takes place. But the structure is going to be we'll talk over the stats, I'll show the gameplay, and then we'll go over the conclusions from there. So, yeah, Tiger P versus Tiger 1. Which is better? If someone was to say, I've never played either of the tanks before, which one should I go for if I want to do well and do so more easily? In which case, I would have to say the Tiger P. So yeah, Tiger P is my answer for that. Which one do I prefer playing? It's the Tiger 1. I much prefer playing this thing to the Tiger P. However, the reason that I say the Tiger P is better to go for than the Tiger 1 if you've never played either of them and you want to be able to do well without having to be a good player or know much about how you play the Tiger. If someone was to say that to me, say that I'm an average player, I've never played either of the tanks before, which one do I go for to do better in? It's the Tiger P. And for one simple reason alone, which is the frontal armor. The frontal armor is the reason why I say the Tiger P is better for someone who's never played either of these two tanks to go for. Now, let's go through the stats. I believe I've got exactly the same equipment layout. No, I haven't. This thing has got this on it. If I take that off, what else has this thing got? This thing needs to have that on it. There you go. So they've got exactly the same equipment layout. This thing's got the track repair. But otherwise, yeah. So, yes, we'll go over the stats of these two, and I will explain why I think for someone who's never played either of these two German heavies, the Tiger P is the better one to go for. So, we'll look at the Tiger 1 first. Okay, 1500 HP. I'll just go through all of the basic stats quick for each of them, just doing all of the major points that you need to that we're going to be covering on this tank, on these two tanks. 1500 HP, 100 frontal turret, 82 side and rear, 165 frontal hull, 82 side and rear. 2412 DPM with a 5.47 reload time, let's call it 5.5 for simplicity's sake. 203 average pen with AP, 220 average damage, 4.5 second aim time and 0.3 dispersion with 7 degrees of gun depression. 30 kilometers per hour average speed, 15.9 power to weight ratio with a 30 degrees hull traverse and a 48 degrees hull traverse, sorry, swap those two around, and a 912 horsepower engine. Okay, that's for the Tiger 1. Now for the Tiger P. 1500 HP, 100 frontal turret, 80 side and rear, 200 frontal hull, 80 side and rear, 2412 average DPM, 5.5 second aim time, 203 average pen with AP, 220 average damage, 4.5 second aim time, 0.3 accuracy, 26 average speed kilometers per hour, 13.8 power to weight ratio with a 30 degrees hull turret and a 34 degrees hull traverse with a 842.4 horsepower engine. Now, looking at those stats, you're going to notice two things. One, this thing has got different armor layout. Two, this thing is quicker. And the answer to that is yes, this thing is quicker. However, I feel that for someone who has never played either of these tanks, whilst this thing is more mobile, it's more skill-based than driving the Tiger P. And the reason for that is simple. Not everyone is a Unicum player. Not everyone belongs to some amazing clan who participates in tournaments. Not everyone knows everything there is to know about the game. That's just how the game works. And the Tiger 1 is a more skill-based tank because, unlike an IS-2, for example, you can't just sort of point it at the enemy and hope that the enemy sort of die and that they don't penetrate your armor. The Tiger 1 has actually got a decent frontal hull armor, which I didn't realize. I thought it still had the same old 100mm of frontal armour that it's supposed to, because, spoilers, this thing is not historically accurate in the slightest. If you want a historically accurate Tiger, go for the 131 or Kuromura Mine, because these things are more accurate Tigers. The one at tier 7 is a very souped up Tiger. It's a bit like a street racer, like Ford Focus or something. It's been highly tuned and modified so that you don't know it's a Ford Focus anymore. It's a bit like the Tiger. It uses the shell of a Tiger, but nothing else. The gun is the Long 88, which wasn't on the Tiger. It's got 165 frontal hull armor when that should be 65mm less. That should be 100mm of frontal armor. And yeah, it goes far quicker and far more mobile with a far more horsepower engine than the real one. This thing, with the engine power boost, has got a 912 horsepower engine. The real one has got a 700 horsepower engine. So yeah, this is a very souped up Tiger. However, even so, you can't exactly just point this tank at the enemy and hope that they die. You know, the IS-2 has got a pretty decent frontal armor layout. It bounces shots all over the place. The Tiger has got a very flat frontal layout. And basically every tank at this tier can penetrate straight through the frontal armor of this thing. It's 165 at range, it'll do alright. But in close quarters combat, anything like an IS-2, a 201, other Tigers, a Mutant, even a Tankenstein using premium? What's my premium pen? 171. Yeah. Even the Tankenstein using the premium lower pen, higher damage AP ammo can get through the frontal armor of this thing, which means that you need to get real into angling this tank if you want to do it in an urban environment, unless you just want to sit at the back of the map and be a sniper, which this thing can do. However, in order to really get the most potential out of driving a Tiger, you need to know how to angle it, and not everyone masters angling, otherwise battles could go on forever if everyone was instantly a god at angling. So not everyone knows how to angle or how to angle properly, and that means that some people in the Tigers, they'll drive out sideways, they'll just sit frontally onto you like this, they won't bother trying to angle, because a lot of people, when they go for a Tiger, they just want to have a Tiger in their garage. They don't think about how they're going to play the Tiger or do well in the Tiger. They just want to own a Tiger, because who wouldn't want to own a Tiger? And that's the main draw of playing the German heavy tank line up until now, I suppose, unless you're going for something like the Maus or the E100. But yeah, the main draw for a lot of people are going to be driving these, late war German tanks, the Panther, the Jagdpanther, the Tiger II, the Tiger, etc., etc. Which mean, however, yeah, you need to know how to drive these tanks though once you get them, because it's all very well having it, but then if you are an average skilled player, say, you've got around a 50% win rate, which is, that's alright. It's a 50% win rate. You're still a alright player, you're enjoying the game, you win some, you lose some, that's just how the game works. But yeah, if you are, an average skilled player, and you're maybe, not unicorn level or tournament level, and maybe if you are aware of angling and you know how to do it, but you don't know the ins and outs of angling and the best angles to go for, the Tiger is not going to be something that you can take out of the box and know exactly how to play it. The Tiger P, on the other hand, you can, to an extent, because the Tiger P has got that 200 frontal hull armor right out the box, whilst the Tiger 1 does have the 165 out the box. It is 165 and it is flat. It's not the most armor at this tier. Every gun on a heavy tank can go through that tank at close range, which is why you need to know about angling, and how to properly angle your tank, and need to know what angles to poke your tank out to take the shots so that they bounce. The Tiger P, you don't necessarily need to know that stuff. You can point the front at an enemy, and there's a pretty decent chance that the shot will bounce just straight off the front. And in that case, you don't need to know about angling or, effective armor profiles and all that. You can literally just sort of park yourself around a corner, a bit like this, just sort of corners here, you're not exactly that angled, and there's a decent chance that a shot will be aimed here, it'll miss, it'll go up, it'll bounce off there and ricochet straight off. And it's just an easier tank to get to grips with and have more consistent games in than the Tiger 1. The Tiger, I do well in the Tiger because I know how to drive the Tiger, I know how to angle the Tiger, and I know how to do stuff with the Tiger and the Tiger 2. And whilst the frontal armour has been buffed, it's still not amazingly buffed. It's still not, you know, Tiger P levels of frontal armour, 200 mils. So whilst I do know how to drive this thing, I get more consistent games in the Tiger P. Indeed, let me show you some of the battles in the Tiger P, where I was trying to get gameplay, a replay, to show in this review. Here you go. So yeah, here's the game that I'm going to be using. Spoilers: 2500 damage. Here's a different game: 2300. Different game: 1500, and that was a loss. 1600 on a win. 21. You know, 2100 there. Here's some different ones. 2100 there. You got 1900, 1700. You see, all of those games are okay. Here's the Tiger: 19, 16, and then there's 26. So the Tiger is a bit more spread out. But you saw all of those games I did above 1500 damage in each games, and that was just using the frontal armor. Sure, I was angling it, you know, trying to bounce shots off the side, but you don't need to in this tank. You can literally just point your frontal armor at someone, and there's a decent chance that, because RNGesus takes the wheel after you've pressed the fire button, there's a decent chance that it will either hit here or here and bounce off. Now, if you're coming to this video from PC, you're going to be thinking, but you can't quite do that, because these cheeks are 80 mil, the same as the side of the armor. And you're wrong. Because World of Tanks Blitz, I can't say whether it's the same for World of Tanks PC, but I can say for Blitz, they buffed these cheek armors on all of the Tiger P variants. So you've got the Tiger P, the Ferdinand, and the Tankenstein. All of these tanks have had the cheeks buffed to be the same armor as the front of the tank, which means that there is very few things that can penetrate through this, that can't penetrate through this, because it's 200 mil at a decent slope. So it is pretty much just a solid slab of armor up here, which it isn't on the Tiger. You've got the big lower glacis of the Tiger, you've got this, which is 165, which even this thing with a 17-pounder gun, which is not that great at tier 7 on a heavy tank, even that can still get through this at close range. It can't get through the frontal armor on this. You have to go for the lower glacis, and if RNGesus takes the wheel and it misses or bounces, well, there's your shotgun. So you can just go straight through the front of the... You can't just go straight through the front of this tank. So if you've never played either of these German heavies, but you want one of them in your garage, and you want to do better in one without having to learn about more game mechanics, the Tiger P is the tank for you. Now, if you're wondering, what about damage and gun? A lot of these tanks, they've got slightly different guns. The other tanks that I've covered on this series, I suppose you could say, they've had different guns. Or at least different variants of the gun. The T-34 versus Type 58, they had two different versions of the 85mm gun. The two T-34s that I covered also had different guns on them. But between these two tanks, they've got exactly the same health and exactly the same gun. They've both got the long 88mm gun, which, if you were paying attention during the main run-through, you will see. They've got exactly the same DPM, exactly the same reload time, exactly the same penetration numbers, exactly the same damage numbers, and they've both got exactly the same dispersion and accuracy. And this thing has actually got 1 degree less of gun depression, which is a bit of a shame. However, yeah, for picking up and playing right out the box, never play the tank, Tiger P's for you. It's got exactly the same health, it's got exactly the same gun, it's just got more frontal armor, but for less mobility, it has to be said. The Tiger, I do like playing the Tiger because of the mobility as well. However, like I keep on saying, never played it. Want a German heavy, you got the choice of 2 in the tech tree. Which one do you go for? You're an alright player, you know, you're an average player, Tiger P will be the one for you, just because it's got the better frontal armor. You don't have to angle it as much, you don't have to do as much skill-based angling, as it were. You can literally just play it out the box. and you'll have a decent time. Whereas the Tiger, you have to get to know it, learn the angles, learn where is good and where isn't good for the Tiger. You've got to learn positions, all that stuff in the Tiger, where you don't need to know that as much for the Tiger P. So there you go. But yeah, we're going to go into the gameplay now, and I will show you the game in the Tiger P first, I think, and then I will move on to the Tiger, and then we'll do the conclusion from there. So yes, the Tiger P game. So we're going to be on Desert Sands for this one. It is a Tier 8 battle, and I am going to be in the Tiger P, like I said. I am one of, what, 3 Tier 7s on our team. Got a Studer Emil and a Blaze WZ. And this is encounter battle, however I'm still going to go to where all the heavy tanks go, because heavy tanks, I suppose. It just seems like the right place to go. So yeah, we got the T-32, we've got the Blaze coming with us, we've got the IS-3, and for some reason, even though our entire team is coming over here, the T-49 still decides to go over to where base C would be, where base A would be, actually, I think, and call for help. And I'm thinking, no one's going to go help you, because they'll have to cross the entire map, and it's a bit late now to be doing repositionings 30 seconds into the game. I get spotted there. I know I've been spotted, so I come right around the corner, just sort of really showing my frontal armour, and bang, we've spotted some people. Now, there is a Jagdpanther too, and the good thing about both the Tiger and the Tiger P is that we've got very good accuracy and just generally a very good gun. As you can see, I can thread these shots right into the front of that Jagdpanther there, and I'm about to take another shot into him when a Tiger just sort of rolls around. And as you can see, I'm not really angling my tank here, I'm literally just sitting around shooting at tanks. I back up here, look at that. I wasn't even angled against that Jagdpanther, and I still just bounced his shot just off the frontal armour. And this is a very rapid fire. These tanks have got very good accuracy. Look at that, straight off the frontal armour of it. You saw there. And yeah, I was concentrating a bit too hard on something else. I take the shot from the Tiger and the Jagdpanther, but even so, we do manage to finish off the Tiger. But yeah, as you saw against that Jagdpanther, I wasn't exactly angling, I wasn't trying to do anything fancy. I was quite literally just doing the thing with the frontal armour, and it bounced. And we also somehow managed to bounce that T-28 Prote shot. I don't know how. Anyway, I am trying to get some shots into... There you go, this Studer Emil has just died. Trying to get a shot into that Jagdpanther, unfortunately it bounces. So instead I decided to come around here and start shooting at the heavy tanks. I was a bit worried about the Tiger 2, but then I realised, actually, the Tiger 2 is using the stock turret, so I can actually penetrate him, because a Tiger 2 fully upgraded is pretty scary, but with the stock turret you can go straight through him. However, I am instead going to go for the easy target, which is the KV Fortress, straight through his lower glacis. And yeah, we managed to take him out. Going for the Tiger 2, managed to finish him off as well, straight through the side of his turret. Very nice, and now it's just the 2 TDs left over here. Jagdpanther, I don't know what he's doing. My first shot somehow misses, but someone else shoots the T-28 Prote. 2 people shoot the Jagdpanther. Someone has damaged his ammo rack. I blow off his tracks, and insult to injury, ammo rack explosion right through his side. And before I can reload, T-28 Prote gets finished off by the T-34 too. So, yeah, there you go. There's that. But even so, 2,300 damage done, which is very nice indeed. 55,000 credits. 2 kills, second class mastery. We've got our ammo rack as well. As you saw, the rapid fire rate of the gun is shared across both tanks, so if you're using one or the other, you don't really need to worry. We were top of the team in that Tier 8 battle, which is very nice. 17 shots fired, 14 hits, 12 pens. Yeah, overall just very nice indeed. Blew off the track, got some assist damage on that Jagdpanther for keeping him perma-tracked, because you can do that with this gun and this tank, both tanks actually in general. And there's our nice ammo rack on the Jagdpanther. But yeah, now I will show you the game in the proper Tiger. So it is a Tier 7 game, but we are on Black Goldville Supremacy again. So there's a Smasher on our team, they got an 25. I am of course going to head to base C, because that's where heavy tanks go. I am a heavy tank, I like going to base C and doing all of the fun angling in tanks, which is all very, very fun. The IS is leading the way with me and the Smasher following him up here. So there's a tank. M6 gets spotted. No one else really yet. IS-6 manages to put a shot straight into him. Or IS-6, sorry, IS. That was a lucky shot to pen, because the M6 is a bit tricky to pen. I don't know where that smasher was shooting, if I'm honest. But still, here we go. I was angling, pre-angling at him, but as it is, he misses his shot anyway, and we do manage to get the kill. I decide to cap the base. The IS instead just decides to head in to try and get more kills. I'm still going to cap the base because might as well farm some base cap points whilst they're doing that. I'm not likely to be able to get shots into them anyway. They're all the way over the other side of the map behind multiple rocks and hills, so I'm instead just going to come over here. And, well, there's an AMX over there pushing on our Jagdpanther. I am going to try and help him as much as possible, but it's not exactly going to save him there as he dies to the AMX. But I do manage to get that one nice shot right through his side, doing a bit of long-range sniping here. Seeing where people go, I'm trying to angle my tank against anyone coming from that direction. And indeed, there he is, the Comet. Unfortunately, he does manage to get straight through my side armour. I wasn't quite angling enough. Next shot, however, does bounce, and I put a shot right through the front of the turret there. There's the AMX blitzing his way towards the rest of our team there. And, well, the Comet's trying to go low, so I go to join him. Yeah, that shot wasn't likely to hit. Do a little bit of ram damage, 53. And, yeah, we're just going to keep putting shots right through his side. He's got a damaged ammo rack. I've done the good old right-click here, but here's where the armour, as you can see, you can't quite just point your armour at them. I am trying to angle myself against this Comet, and he's just getting straight through the, what is it, side armour. Yeah, we do manage to bounce that shot, and then he tries running and dies. Yeah, but there's the armour. He was going straight through the side armour. Again, I was trying to angle. We did bounce that one shot from him, but he did pen straight through the front of my turret there. And, well, there's the E75. Sorry, E25. Thankfully that shot hit. That was a snapshot. And he's trying to run. Put a shot right through him there as he's still trying to run. Trying to get to the base cap, I think. And put one nice shot into him. There you go. Shot straight through the lower glaciers. Set me on fire. Thankfully my auto fire extinguisher put it out. And, well, he's trying to kill off someone over there, but everyone's gunning for him. There's 4 versus 1. He is an E25, but even so, he's not going to win this, and down he goes. But yeah, so there you go. There's his penetrating shot right through the lower glacis of my tank. So yeah, whilst I did do more damage there, I was trying to play it a bit more skillfully. That game probably wasn't the best to demonstrate it, but even so, was still a second-class mastery. 59,000 credits. Top of the team, obviously, with 1 kill for that amount of damage. 14 shots fired, 12 hits, 12 pens. 7 hits received, 4 pens, 3 non-pens. So we did bounce some shots. Did damage the ammo rack of the Comet. Oh, that was me. I'll take that. Yeah, resupplied my provisions, etc., etc. But yeah, so that is the gameplay of them. Now, just another quick rundown, in case you missed it all the way up until now. Tiger P is the tank, I would say, for someone who hasn't played either of these tanks, but wants the better one to do that, to do better in for less skill input, I suppose you could say. Because whilst I myself personally prefer the Tiger, objectively for more people, the Tiger P will be more accessible with a lower skill start, I suppose you could say. Just because of that frontal armour you saw in the game that I had in the Tiger P. I bounced that shot from the Jagdpanther 2 straight off the frontal turret, straight off the frontal armour rather, right here. And, well, E25, Comet, all of that was penetrating my Tiger. So, yeah, if you want a tank to do well in, the Tiger P is the better of the two. So yeah, I'll thank you for watching and goodbye.